Hi, let me tell you something, right? Everybody wants to be a programmer, everybody wants to learn programming. But then, what are you doing to better yourself? Um, when I started programming, I mean, this wasn't like this, right? It was about, let's say, 13, 14 years ago. It was all, dark. But then every time thinking, and I got tired of trying to dive and stuff, and just left it like that. In a couple of years, like 5 years from now, it should be all totally white, right? I've seen it go from you know white here to this point. But hey, enough of me. So let's talk about the main topic. We when we say programming, we don't mean that we don't. When we say programmers are quite unique, we don't mean that programmers are maybe thrown from heaven and a mother didn't give birth to them or something. But what we mean is that there is a mindset when it comes to programming. Just like for every occupation, there is a mindset when it comes to that particular occupation. So for programming, you need to think in a logical way. Sadly, yeah. So people want to become a programmer. You need to know that you are solving a problem. So the first thing, or most things I tell people is that programming is so interesting that police will come to you and say, we want to catch criminals. Criminals will come to you and say, we don't want police to catch us. An example is police comes to you and say, oh, we want an application that detects a clone website. Meanwhile, criminals will come to you and say, we want to clone this website. So you are catching the thief, right? You are working with the police to catch the thief. At the same time, you could be working with the thief, right, to sabotage the police. It now depends on what path you decide to go, whether you want to be a black hat or a white hat. I mean, my hair is enough to tell you the kind of hat I have on. So, without further ado, let's jump into this. And again, I wish, you know, it's live. I wish to show you guys, the whole effect of, this new Gen Z kind of effect where you have something scrolling here and there. But I tried it with some software, but it wasn't giving me. So I decided, you know what, this information has to go out and it has to be plain. And that's why I'm giving you this whole plain view and stuff. So it might not come like that next time, and it might come like that next time. You just have to, you know, take it as it is. Now, um, sorry, my phone. Okay, so then let's quickly run through what we want to talk about. Now, the first is our title is 10 ways to think like a programmer. And the first is you need to break problems into smaller pieces, right? Like, let's say we have a problem. We need to pick a problem now. Let's say we have a problem of somebody wants to build an application that can transfer money from their mind. Yeah, that can transfer money from their mind to reality. So the first thing you want to do is that it transfer money from your mind into your reality. We have two problems that seem unrealistic. The first is from the mind, right? And the conversion from mind to reality, yeah, is another problem. To build an application is not a problem if, let's say, you're a developer. I mean, a lot of tools out there to build applications, but we're talking about the thinking now. So, the first thing I would do is to know that my application has two ends. I have a converter, right? What do I mean by converter? The converter is the guy that says in between the reality and the mindset, reality and the thought. It says in between and then it converts to whatever it wants to convert to. Then, okay, so that problem being said, that problem being said, I then break it down further by saying, oh, I need an application. I need to enter into the user's mind. How do you enter into the user's mind? That means we need a kind of hardware. And how does this hardware work? It connects with the device, maybe through Bluetooth or wired connection. Maybe what's the name of this? What's the name of this stuff? There's this popular stuff that you connect with, and NFC or something like that. Yeah, through NFC, that's another kind of wireless transmission within the mobile ecosystem. Now, you have tried to break down the problem into smaller bits, but it doesn't still resolve it doesn't still give you a plain direction because that is just 1 out of 10. Now, moving to two, you have think algorithmically, right? Approach the solution step by step. This includes breaking down the solution into further, practical view. You need to be practical as much as it is. Now, a user wants to build an app, right? You could build an app. Let's say, okay, fine. The first thing is to build an app, right? We are taking it step by step. Now we build the app. App is trying to connect to where? Connect to the mind. When the app is trying to connect to the mind, the first thing you want to check, has the user connected that, hardware device that, he would wear on his head and connect to his mindset. Has he won it? If he has not won it, tell user you have not won it because maybe there is a sensor on the hardware that he needs to put. If he has not won it, then what happens? You tell him, oh, you've not won it, or it is not connected. You detect connection, you detect won it. The reason why you need to break that down is because if you say not connected, okay, so imagine I connected the device to my phone through Bluetooth. It's connected, but I didn't wear it. I put it somewhere on the table, and you are telling me not connected. Not connected to what? Not connected is there's something in the programming we call ambiguous word, right? Not connected is ambiguous. Is it not connected to the head or not connected to the device? So you need to spell it out there. Connected to device, you can check that. Then connected to user has won it or connected to the head or something or to the mind. Not so. So user knows that, oh, it's not connected to my mind, but connected to my device. So it needs to wear it. And that's how you break down that problem, right? And then you now proceed with the whole further integration with other financial institutions where whatever you pick up, you can then convert it and do what you have to do and stuff like that. But then, right? Again, you need to, and that this is taking us to our third point. You need to learn as a programmer to move. Why? You need to learn as a programmer to embrace debugging. What do we mean by the debugging? There are mistakes. Like you would literally write lines of code, and you think you've written the best thing, and you show your friend. Your friend will tell you that what happens is this, and then you feel like, oh my god, I've wasted 3 days happy about a code I have written that has no significant impact. So you need to think about that. You need to think about, you need to be open-minded to embrace criticism, which is what? Embrace debugging. Learn from mistakes and improve. Now, there's no problem making mistakes, but when you make mistakes and you don't improve, now I don't expect you to make mistakes now and you go back to say, for someone like me who has been in programming for 13 years, you won't believe that I still go back and say HTML, maybe if I have a project website, I still go back and say how to put, how to align a div to the left. Yes, that can still happen. Nobody is a knowledge, right? Nobody is an island. So what it means is that we have resource all over the internet. It's free. Use it. Google, right? Google, build yourself. And hey, I love the whole idea of AI, ChatGPT and the rest. Yeah, but if you are ChatGPT in and you are not learning from it, right? And you're always going back to ask the simple question. If you are ChatGPT in and you are not learning from it, right? And you're always going back to ask the simple questions, then it means that what you're not embracing, you're not open-minded, and you're not learning. You're just doing it for survival. You're just using programming to chop. That's what it means. Now, you need to stay curious. Stay curious in the sense that I remember that about maybe 4 months ago, Android 14 or Android 15 came out, and I was always emphasizing to my team, like, yeah, Android 16, we need to move to Android 15, we need to do this, Android 15, and it was all Android 15 that period because there was a significant change in the code base, gradual change and stuff like that. So you need to be curious about what is changing in your system. Now, I know as a programmer, you look at it like, how was TikTok made? How is YouTube made? How is this made? That should be the list of your program because something will fall in line and you would begin to understand when it gets there. The funny thing is that even the owner of Facebook might not be able to tell you precisely how the technology of Facebook is put together. Even the whole Elon Musk thing that people say, oh, is this, is that, is this. Yeah, he might have one or two ideas, you get, but he's not the greatest idealist in this in the company, right? He has people who he pays that holds idea. I know you remember the old Twitter saga where people are like, some people in Twitter cannot cope. The reason is because the moment they leave, that's the end. So it is not an element thing. It's just that he is good with attracting, people who know the job, and that's the trait of a good boss. You really want to have that guy as a boss. Um, so stay curious, right? Continuously explore and learn new concepts. Now, plan before you code. Understand the problem before writing any code. You cannot. That is the what's it called? Five, right? You cannot write a code, right, without planning. What do I mean by planning? Right now, we just planned a project that says transfer money from your mind to, you know, your mind to another mind. So you need to transfer. You need to plan. Like, this is how I want to go. This is how I want to go. Before you write your first line of code, right? Don't be. Well, I will hardly see a programmer that doesn't plan before writing the code because it will be so messed up. Yeah, you just think about an idea and you want to start writing. Now, you are still going to sit back and say, okay, so how do we do this? You still going to do that. So in most cases, it comes naturally. But again, plan before you code. Understand the problem before writing the code. Now, focus on efficiency, right? Optimize your code for performance and scalability. Now, this looks like if I tell you something about this, focus on efficiency might not be at the first best, right? The first thing that comes to your mind when you are given a problem is how to solve the problem. When you now solve the problem, you can now come back and say, yeah, so we are talking about efficiency, right? Let me start. I can rewrite this one to do this. I can rewrite this one to do this. But the first problem is solve the problem. You know why? Because if you write a code as a developer, if you write a code as a developer and nobody, I mean, you are given 1 month to solve the problem, and you are trying to solve the problem while you are writing an efficient code, but you are unable to meet that deadline of writing the efficient code. And one guy who doesn't even write, who's not organized, who writes all his models, all his class, everything in one single file, he comes and he gets the project done in 2 weeks. You know what's going to happen? Your boss is going to tell you that he doesn't care what part the job is done. All he cares about is the fact that what the job is done. Now, that other guy who got the job done, you know, 5 months from that time, they could now go review the code and say, oh, what kind of this is this and that. That guy has an excuse. And they'll be like, I was given 1 month to get it done, right? It can't be done in 1 month. So I completed it in 3 weeks using this code. They'll now be like, okay, so we need to optimize then. The guy said, we need to optimize then. The guy can now go back and tell them, oh, I need like 3 months to optimize. Then he starts copying, pasting, separating the files, and just doing some cleanups and adding some latest stuff. You see, that guy is efficient, you are not. So the first thing you do, yeah, is, yeah, while you've been given a problem, try to solve the problem first. Then focus on efficiency. That's what has been working for me. Because I find out that, yeah, I try to get it, try to write it and be efficient and this and that. Because efficiency comes with lateness in deliverability. Hmm? Right? In most cases, efficiency is not what we know. It is best practices. We go Google it and say, oh, instead of writing my loop like this, is it okay to write it like this? You do research and stuff. But then, getting the job done is about what you know. I know how to build a Flutter application, so I go into Flutter, build it, resolve the problem, and then they're like, oh, okay, so we need to have a theming. We need to have what's it called? Widgets that are single things. That is, the button must be from a single thing so that it looks alike whenever we just call one single button class and it appears on all screens and it's the same. It's not like we are calling button here, we are calling button here on 5 different screens. You know what I'm saying? So that is something that can be, yes, those kind of efficiency now are something that comes naturally with the project. You will think about it like, what will it take me to build this? But the efficiency I'm talking about is the efficiency that wants to slow you down. You need to concentrate on building the app. Yeah, your code has to be optimized from day one, no doubt. But then you need to be all about delivering the application, the time frame. You need to be all about that, right? There is even something that some developers do, which is they write unit tests before they write the project, before they start the project itself. So they write unit tests, the unit test fails, and then now start building the project, which is like, you know, writing a failed test and then you work your way up towards a perfect code, which makes a whole lot of sense. You get what I'm saying? But such can be detrimental to the timeline of the project. Now, collaborate effectively, share ideas and learn from peers. Don't just be like that. In most cases, working as a programmer, except it's a company that is maybe low budget, right? You would work as an individual developer, but then you will mostly work with a team. You work with a team of developers, you work with designers and these guys. You should be open-minded, you should be collaborative, you should listen in meetings so that you can say, oh, guys, I think this will not work. This is how Android says we should do it. This is how iOS wants us to do it. This is what, Firefox browser will accept, while Chrome browser will not accept. You should be able to interact with them and collaborate effectively. Now, stay patient. Programming takes time, effort, and inspiration. Trust me, you're going to write this is what we were not told before we started. Maybe if you have been told, maybe I would have been maybe physicist or something, but we were never told this. You need to stay patient. Programming takes time. Okay? Don't expect that you learn programming today and you'll be the best tomorrow. It's not like a streaming YouTube stream where you just come and in like few days you already have some streaming you already have some streaming stuff going on with you, right? You need to you need to stay patient. Programming takes time, effort, and iteration. Iteration in the sense that you know you are done this, then you look at the code again, you build on it, and that's why you have version one, version two, version three, and in within version one, version two, you have version 1.1, 1.2, and stuff like that. So stay patient. Now, then okay, talking about stay patient. Another thing I can tell you is that you're going to write lines of code and then your compiler will not compile it because of one single line of code. The funny thing is, compilers will give you this is where the error is coming from, line so, which is interesting. You see the line by the side of the screen, line 22. Guess what? When you go to line 22, it's a blank space. Hmm? There is a way we solve that problem. It means either you did not terminate the line before, something is wrong. It is the line before. When it tells you line 22 and you go to line 22 and it's a blank space, just check the code before line 22. That's where the problem is. You know, that takes time before you know as a developer. You just go there and you're like, oh my God, what is happening? And then you can write a single line of code, but maybe your reference or your class is wrong and it gives you a wrong result and you continue to bang your head for 3 days. Maybe I've done it 3 days, you wouldn't sleep trying to resolve the issue. Then you stand up, go and take water, right? Sit back, rest your head, and then just clear it off and retype the line and boom, it starts working. Now, that has happened to a lot of developers. I thought it only happened to me, but then it has happened to a lot of developers. Clear the line, rewrite it, and boom, it starts working. And then you'll be like, wait, Control Z. And you run it, and it continues to work. And then you'll be like, wait, what? Then wait for 3 days? Have I been on this for 3 days? What is happening? So it takes time, effort, and iteration. But the more you don't give up, the more you experience these obstacles, the better you become a good programmer, right? Now, adapt to change. There are new tools, new technology, new techniques. You need to adapt, right? And that is number 9. You need to adapt to the different change. Just like I said, Android 15 is out. Android 15 totally changed the game. Like Gradle is rewritten. I think they support Java 17 or something like that, which was a bit lower previously, and so I ran into some issues and stuff, but now it's fine, right? If right now we have fingerprints and touch screen, fingerprints, Face ID, and something, maybe the next ID will be, toe ID, right? You put your phone under your toe, it scans it, and you are in. Now, a user now says, oh, people are requesting for our application to have toe ID. How do we go about it? So you as a developer should be on your feet to understand this change. The change can come in any way, right? The change can come and you should be able to adapt. Now, Android might come up and say face scan is not effective, and as such, Android is saying we are not doing face scan. You have already built applications that have face scan. Your application, you should be able to go back to your application and readapt it to without face scan, just fingerprint, And if you build an application that is metric in nature, how do you then if the device doesn't have fingerprint, how then do you handle such a request? Those are the things that you adapt to change. Now, practice consistently. Solve problem regularly to sharpen your skills. Now, I know some people go to what's it called? This algorithm site where they go and solve this. Now, what you need to know is that algorithm actually builds your mind. So, in Nigeria, if you say you want to study computer science, right? Nobody will tell you the full computer science, which is Department of Computer Science and Mathematics. They will just tell you computer science, Department of Computer Science. But when you enter, you see that it is Department of Computer Science and Mathematics. The reason why it is mathematics and you continue to do calculus to your 400 level is because it shapes your mind. It brings out, it is something that provokes your thought, and as such, trying to solve a problem just it's more like, taking a stone, grinding it against the cutlass, and your mind is shaping. So because of that, yeah, I need you to understand that going to algorithm, website, trying to solve algorithm problems would shaping your mind, right? But for some developers like us, I've seen, I used to think I was alone, but I've read some things on Reddit and some other places, and people are like, no, I don't like those algorithm stuff. That's why I'm not applying for. Because for you to apply for Facebook as a Facebook developer or Twitter developer or Amazon developer or Microsoft developer, there's algorithm tests that must take place, right? You must, be able to solve a good lump of algorithms. But for someone like me, I like algorithm, right? But then I feel like it's my personal opinion, but I feel like it's an overkill. Maybe because I understand programming. It doesn't really it doesn't really solve them. I would prefer mathematical, span than the whole algorithm thing, trying to think this way and that way. But then some people will come under this comment and say, oh, now, why is he talking about algorithm like that? But hey, all man for himself. I'm speaking for myself. And I've seen developers who don't like things. And I feel like it's an overkill for interviews. But hey, some people are getting it. So shout out to you. But then we stay. So practice consistently, solve problems regularly to sharpen your skills. And that is it. So if you internalize these strategies, right, you can tackle challenges with confidence, improve your coding practice, and continue to evolve in the ever-changing technology landscape. Um, on a final note, right, I'm doing this whole, this whole channel. This is actually not my main channel. This is just a channel which I want to like give back to the community because trust me, as a developer, when you have a problem, the problem already exists on the internet. All you just need to do is go and check it in Stack Overflow, then copy the code and come and paste it, then fine tune it to your taste. It's the sincere truth. Somebody will say, how do you even encourage people to come and compare, to come and copy and paste? That's what we do. If you don't know what we do. Now, the logic is yours, but some of the codes will belong to some other people, and that's why we say it's a give and take situation. If I'm a developer and I try to solve problems for like 5 days and I'm not able to solve, and I'm eventually able to solve it, and I feel like, yeah, somebody's going to have this problem. Rather than spend 5 days, I'm going to put this on a blog or put it on Stack Overflow, ask the question and answer it. And guess what? Maybe 5 years, maybe 3 years from that time, nobody comes to the question. But somehow, somewhere, somebody will come and tell you that, You are a lifesaver. I have been on this for the past 4 weeks. I have been on this for the past. I abandoned a project because I couldn't resolve this. You are a lifesaver. You will see such comments. There are comments like that on Stack Overflow. So what it means is it's a give and take situation. You are not the only one. You are not alone in the problem. My compiler, okay, I want to run a Flutter program. It's giving me null error online. So. Copy that error, paste it on Google, search. You will see thousands of results coming back as null this thing. Click on it. They will explain to you why it is null. Then use your intuition as a programmer to solve the problem. And that's where we that's where we are. So next time I'll be bringing you more tips. I can't really think of what it is right now, but then again, I said I have my I have my daily work, but then I'm just trying to give back to the community, teach people how programming works. I'm still going to get more lively like this, but this it feels like I'm under intense. You know, it feels like I'm not so relaxed, because if I'm relaxed, I'm going to just smile, tell you about something, talk some slang, my jar kind of level, and then we are going to be fine. But hey, stay woke, stay focused, you will get there. Um, lastly, I know I've said lastly a couple of times, but lastly, I think the only occupation that is not going down anytime in like 100 years is programming. It's my personal view, right? It's programming. So if you say you want to learn programming, take these points. I'm going to drop them in the description. Take those points and you know work on yourself. You would be fine. Trust me, you will be fine. Yeah. So I guess I would see you some other time. Love you guys, and stay connected. It's your code body. End of trip. Bye. See ya.